This is Catching Up with the Kernel. I'm Giana Gallo.
And I'm Owen Chesemore.
And today we'll be highlighting 4 Kentucky Kernel articles to keep you in the loop of what's going on around campus.
We briefly address the newly elected editors-in-chief, and followed by a former UK president's death, and the sexual assault lawsuit against UK swim coach Lars Jorgensen. And then we'll bring on staff reporter Lilly Keith on the update regarding SGA in the Senate chamber.
Just a disclaimer, the opinions expressed on this podcast are the speaker's own and do not uphold the opinions expressed by the Kentucky Kernel. All right, let's catch up. Pop the Confetti Cannons, our new editors-in-chief for Kernel Media and Kernel Lifestyle and Fashion Magazine have been elected, so we want to congratulate Abby Couture and Laurel Swans, who will be our new fearless leaders for both of our amazing media. So we are so proud of them, and we wish them the best of luck.
Yes, very exciting news about that. And then next up, we have the former UK President David Roselle dying at 84, and Casey Sebastiano, our news editor, covered that. I'm just going to read from that. The 9th president of the University of Kentucky, David Roselle, dies at 84. Roselle was president of the university from July 1987 until December 1989, according to UK's Office of the President. Upon his hiring, Roselle announced his goal was to, quote, achieve national recognition for the university with respect to the quality of its graduates and its scholarships and research. During his 1.5-year tenure, Roselle focused, quote, much of his time and attention responding to allegations from the NCAA of misconduct within basketball program concerning recruiting, according to UK. In October 2011, UK announced the renaming of North Hall to David P. Roselle Hall, commonly known as Roselle Hall after the president. After leaving UK, he accepted the position of president at the University of Delaware, which he retired from in 2007, according to the University of Delaware's website. He held the position of president emeritus until his death.
And we want to plug our sports podcast that should be coming out tomorrow. That's going to talk about the swim team and the lawsuit that's going on with their former coach, Lars Jorgensen. So feel free to check out the podcast that's really going to go in depth about this lawsuit, the allegations, and what's really going on. But feel free to tune into our podcast because we will have up-to-date information on that coming soon. You can find the sports podcast on YouTube and Spotify as well.
Today, we are bringing on staff reporter Lilly Keith to talk about what's going on in SGA. Would you mind talking about what your experience was there and talking about what you wrote about today?
Yeah, so a couple weeks ago, I joined this Zoom meeting that was the Senate meeting for, I guess, UK's just kind of Senate chamber. I don't fully understand it all, so it's all kind of new to me. But I joined this Zoom, lots of people in it, lots of faculty, staff, students that are a part of SGA were there. And they were basically just going over Eli Capilouto's proposed principles that he's come out with recently. There's been a couple different drafts that he's had, and I think this one was the 3rd resolution that the Senate has proposed to his principles. And basically the principles are just, one of them, the one that's the most important right now is Capilouto's trying to shift power from the Senate and from other different shared governance organizations to a proposed president's kind of council. And that'll be composed of, I think, 4 faculty members, 4 staff members, and 4 students from SGA.
Gotcha. So, again, you said there was a lot of people on this Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Who was there a part of SGA? And it was just kind of give us an idea of what happened.
Yeah, so those that were there that work with the SGA. I know that Kirsten White was there. She was speaking on the resolution quite a bit, and I know that I think Jason Marcus was there, who's the former vice president. When I talked to Lizzie, they had just sworn in Maddie Duff and her vice president for the next year. So former vice president Jason Marcus and then former president Lizzie Hornung. They were present. I know that there were other members there, but I don't know their names, and they didn't speak. But I know that Kirsten White was very frustrated with kind of the resolution, I believe. She felt that the student body in the SGA as a whole have been kind of suppressed. Like, people, staff, and I guess figures of power haven't really been listening to them. And I think that's understandable. And I think that when I talked to Lizzie, she kind of told me that they're in support of Capilouto's principles because it'll give students, SGA in particular, a more powerful voice than they already have. So it'll kind of, patch over this kind of distance I think they feel, and hopefully give students a more powerful voice, because I think that's what Capilouto's trying to do.
Yeah. Do you think it will give faculty a powerful voice as well?
I feel like coming from someone who doesn't really fully know faculty and all the power that they have, I do think it will give them probably about the same amount of power. It will, I think, give more voice to the colleges in particular when it comes to deciding like curriculum and different things like that. I think that the colleges will have more power for sure for deciding those kinds of things. But I think faculty will definitely have a voice, and I think that that was one of the concerns there. But I think that Capilouto is genuinely trying to get everyone to have more of an even voice, more of like a fair, equal voice.
Yeah, all of those emails, I think it was pretty quickly, I guess, sent about this Senate chamber stuff. Is that what those emails from President Eli Capilouto, is that what they're about, those statements?
Yes. He's been keeping students updated with everything. I'm not sure like how many students are actively like keeping up with them because it is so confusing. But yes, like he's been sending out emails almost weekly, I think, about different like his keeping students updated with what he's doing and his steps along the way.
Gotcha. Well, thank you so much for informing us and keeping us in the loop of all of this Senate chamber stuff. I know that a couple weeks and possibly a month ago, we brought on Cole Park, who did the first ever Senate chamber article, and now seeing its kind of progression is very interesting to me. So thank you for staying in the loop of this.
I'm trying, and I'm going to try to write another article to hopefully make it more simple, put it in more simple terms, because I know I need that for sure, and I know that some other people would probably appreciate that too.
Well, that's a wrap on Catching Up with the Kernel. We want to thank our guest Lilly for keeping us in the loop of what's important news around campus.
If you happen to miss her article, feel free to check it out on kykernel.com and follow us on all social media, which includes X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Spotify.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and thanks for catching up. See you next week.